Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells me she's in church, but she doesn't go till she's on her knees. And Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Wait a minute. I'm Scotty. Son of a... Yeah, my pup. Can you imagine having the name Scotty and having to live through? But here, let's see. This movie came out in 2004, my sophomore year of high school. And I already showed you the collection. I also have the single release there. So we're going to talk about Eurotrip, of course. And Eurotrip is the story of Scott Thomas. He finds out that his girlfriend Fiona had been cheating on him. And he finds a strange connection in his pen pal from Germany, who at first he believes is a guy. But when she flirts with him, he freaks out, thinking it's a guy, and tells her off. Only to realize the next morning, thanks to his little brother, it was a girl. So he and his best friend Coop traveled to Europe, to Germany, to try to find her and explain to her, and, you know, so he can reconnect with her. Because she blocked him on her computer, which isn't a thing. At least in 2004 it wasn't. Like, it's a complete computer blockage. Like, she had to call in a technician to try to get it unblocked. But that was a dream. I don't know. But it just, I don't know. So, yes, this movie stars Scott Meklowitz, who I think was in a few other things. He plays Scotty. You have Jacob Pitts playing Coop. And I've seen him only in this. It's some Lifetime movie that also starred Beau Bridges. God damn it. We have Travis Wester as Jamie, one of the twins, with his twin sister Jenny, played by Michelle Trachtenberg. They're the worst twins in the world. They don't have any kind of twin magic thing going between them. Nothing. So Scotty and Coop. So first of all, let's talk about the song. The song that haunted my life for years, until I finally saw this movie late night on like Cinemax or HBO, and figured out what it was. And then I got even more mad because it's about a girlfriend cheating on him. So we have Fiona, who is Scotty's girlfriend at the beginning of this, played by Lana Lang herself, Kristen Cruick. And I've always hated this casting choice. She played this good girl character on Smallville at the time, and they made her a whore, basically. You know, I didn't like that. I could, you know. And she breaks up with him at his graduation. So, keep in mind, she's not 18. And she's been sleeping with these other guys, including Matt Damon, who has an uncredited cameo as the singer of the song. Although he lip syncs, it's actually the band Lustra that sings the song. But, yeah, Scotty doesn't know. And this is something that I didn't think of till this viewing. So, they're singing this song and Scott's at the party. Scotty's at the party, right? Now, it's, you know, you can think, oh, they didn't, you know. It's a party. They're entertaining people. Don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know, so they don't expect him to be there. Except, Fiona knows he's there. Because, earlier in the film, at the graduation scene, when Coop walks up, and when he goes to leave, he says, "See you at Wade's party." So she knows he's there. And she's just doing this to torture him. And, like, she's been with this guy for 1 year. It's a running joke. Not a running joke, but it's a little joke because she hands on, like, a Letterman jacket. It's not his. So she's more than just him. So, seeing as he got dumped by her, he has a connection with his pen pal from Germany, who he calls Mike, but it's spelled Mieke, which is a German female name pronounced Mika, which he doesn't know that. And Cooper warns him that his pen pal is just some 40-year-old dude who wants to touch his genitals. So when she hits on him, he freaks out, thinking it's a dude, and then the next morning he wakes up and finds out from his little brother that it's actually a chick, or a woman, female, and decides to go on this trip to find her. He brings Coop with, and they meet Jenny and Jamie there, who are on their European summer trip. And from there, we go all over Europe. France, Britain, or England, so to speak. Bratislava, which is kind of a low point. We'll talk about that. I do like when they go to England, though. They meet up with Vinnie Jones, playing the leader of a Manchester United fan club, and actually got me to follow Manchester United on Facebook and stuff. It's kind of cool. I'm not a big soccer fan, or football, as they say over there, but it's a decent sport. I used to play, actually, when I was a kid, a little bit of soccer, so, kind of a connection, I guess. And they're the best part. They show up at the end when they're in Rome, and they're like, "Hey, they're with us." It's cool to see them show up again. And then they go to France. But I think that's where they meet up with Jamie and Jenny and stuff like that. And then, or no, they meet up somewhere, I don't know. But they're supposed to go to Berlin, and it's all over the place. And they end up in Bratislava because they talk to this guy who only speaks German. And even this guy says, "I speak bad German." And so he's not able to communicate with this guy, who is telling them that he's basically a fugitive from Berlin because he stabbed someone in a bar in Berlin, I think it is. And so he's hiding, and they end up in Bratislava. So they do a joke here where they collect their money. They have no money because Jamie was robbed in Amsterdam while getting a blowjob by one of the ladies there. Robbed by a cameo from Dietrich Bader, of all people. And, oh, by the way, there's a scene on a train with Fred Armisen playing an Italian guy. He's scusi. It's funny. It's funny. It's a little, I don't know if it would be kosher nowadays, but it's still kind of funny. Mi scusi. But, yeah, so they go, they get Bratislava, they've been robbed, they, pull together what they have. It's like $1.83 American. And all of a sudden, due to the exchange rate, they have a whole bunch of money, and they got lobsters, a fancy hotel room and stuff. And I'm just thinking, going, yeah, it's a funny joke, but logic dictates you should use that to get to fucking Berlin, because they do this whole thing where they get all extravagant and they go out and they drink absinthe, and Jamie and Jenny make out with each other because they're both drunk. Yeah, it's a funny night. But, and then they get to the bar, and there's a Euro version of Sky Doesn't Know playing. It's a little running joke. Cooper even has it as his ringtone at one point. There's a running joke with him where he's supposed to be working at a summer job, but he's not. And he actually gets this other guy fired, and he gets the promotion, which is kind of funny. Yeah, why didn't they use their money to get to Berlin? Because we need to pad up the film, that's why. And then the very next scene, the next day, besides a funny scene where Coop's like, "Hey, Jamie, let me see your from," which is his guide. He goes, "Oh yeah, Bratislava. Here's an interesting fact. You made up with your sister, man." And the funny thing is, my name is Scotty. I used to have a friend named Jamie, and we play out that scene a lot. Scotty's not the one that says it, it's Coop, but, it's kind of funny. We watch this, I'm Scotty, and you're Jamie. Like, no, I'm not that Jamie. I don't make out with my sister. I want to get laid. And I know Scotty's the one that gets laid, so me. But, yeah, spoiler alert. But yes, and then this one guy who they showed it when they first got to Bratislava shows up in a Dukes of Hazzard style car. Apparently, Bratislava is still stuck in the 80s because they're talking about, Miami Vice, #1 new TV show. Stop, hammer time. And it's just like, are they really that far back? It's 2004. Are they really that I mean, it looks like an ashtray of a place, which is really what's represented on this map that they made. But yeah, and that gets them to Berlin in Germany, and they get there, and Mika's not there because she's in Rome on a tour. I guess she's on some kind of cruise, and they took her on a tour of Rome. So they get there, and then they play out this joke, where they're in the actual Pope building because they trick the guards into thinking Jamie's a tour guide because of his Frommer's knowledge, and that Coop is a mentally challenged person, which it works. But then Jamie has to take off with Jenny to do another tour group while the other two roam around. So they're separated, and neither of them know what the other's doing. So Scotty and Coop get into a bit of trouble in the Pope's office because they accidentally set a fire, which sends the smoke up, thinking that the Pope is dead, and then the hat's on fire, the little Pope hat is on fire, and they throw that in, but sends up the white smoke, which means that they elected a new Pope. They explained that earlier, so that we get the joke here. And like, oh, usually it takes 15 days before they do anything. And then Jenny says a line like, someone's gonna, like she knows that it's, she says a line I don't remember, but it implies that she knows that it's Scotty and Coop that did it, which makes no sense because they're separated. How would she know it was them? I've always wondered, how does she know it's them? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, eventually, Scotty is revealed to be the new Pope, quote unquote. But he's not. He jumps down and he confesses his love to Mika. And actually, the original ending, she was supposed to deny him, saying, I don't even know who you are, you know, something like that. But I guess they changed it to a happy ending. But there is the alternate ending on the DVD. And this is the first time I watched the unrated version. And I noticed there's a scene at the beginning of the film where Cooper lands himself in a hot tub. In the original theatrical version, when he lands in, the girl in there is wearing a top, like a bikini top. But in this one, she's already got it off, so they cut out part of that scene. But I always loved his catchphrase, his kind of running joke throughout the film. Oh, this isn't where I parked my car. I love that. I used to use that all the time, even though I don't have a car. But this isn't where I parked my car. I love that. But yes, he and Mickey get together and they do it in the side of a confessional thing. You know, you do the confessionals. They do it in there, which will be blasphemous. And then they make plans, you know, that they're sort of together. But, you know, she's got to go on a tour and he's got to go back to the States. And then we catch up with our characters. Apparently, so there's a running thing through the film that Coop is attracted to Jenny, and it turns out that they're both attracted to each other. So they hook up on the plane, you know, and then they're together during the this is what's going on with their lives thing. They're together, talking on the phone with Scotty, and they find out that Jamie, because Jamie was leading that tour group, and there's this snobby kind of guy asking him questions. Turns out he's actually Abe Frommer, and he's given him a job as a professional tour guide. So he stayed, and the rest of them. By the way, he sold his special camera so they can get all the way to Berlin from wherever that guy took them. I forgot about that part, but anyway, so. Scotty is in his dorm room waiting for his new roommate, and it turns out to be Mika because they thought she was a guy. But this wouldn't work. As soon as she showed up, they would notice, you know, hey, you know, because she'd have to go to the desk to get her assignment, right? Right? She'd have to go to the desk to get her assignment. So upon seeing the assignment, seeing her there, there's a mistake. They put you in the boys' dorm. We'll change that. It wouldn't get that far. Common sense. Common sense, but it's supposed to be funny, and they get together, and there's a little joke where, like, oh, are you making out with your roommate? There's other scenes such as that I've omitted, such as Cooper getting anally butt fucked in this weird, not really, just like they use this toy and they don't even show it. He did show the next day, wear the shirt, because he can't walk. But it's just like, yeah, that's the one scene that's always been kind of, Colin. It's just he's trying to come out the safe word, he can't pronounce it. And it's when they're in Amsterdam. And there's a bunch of, I don't know if they're not bloopers per se, but deleted scenes in the credits that wouldn't make it to the regular one, and they're not really important. But yeah, this film was pretty good. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's better than Road Trip. I've always connected this one way or another. I don't know. The Scotty thing kind of helped that out, I guess. But yeah, I think it's enjoyable, and I give it a 9 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Road Trip, or Eurotrip, my bad, on Eurotrip? Leave in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.